Welcome to Disability Matters with your host, Joyce Bender. All comments, views, and opinions expressed on the show are solely those of the host, guest, and callers. Now, the host of Disability Matters, here's Joyce Bender.
Hey, everyone. Happy day. I hope everything is going great for you. This is Joyce Bender on Disability Matters, and I am always so thankful for all of you. I tell you that on every show. I mean it on every show. Such great listeners. You know, we've been on 22 years now. We've had over 1,000 episodes. Of course, we're on YouTube now. And Highmark, can I say, they're so awesome. They are the sponsor. They're the sponsor of the show. No surprise. You all know how much I love that company. But I also have to thank those around the world. Now, you know, I said this on several of the last shows. Singapore, I don't know what's going on there, but it's great. We have 143 countries with listeners, and you are once again number 2 right after the United States. So whatever is going on there, this is what I have to say. Keep spreading the news. You know, this is where you can go to this show to hear about quality of life for people living with disabilities. And I mean, I am just so impressed with you, Singapore. You're just awesome. So keep it going. And, you know, I say that about all the countries. Top after the United States, Singapore, Brazil, Spain, China, India, Vietnam, Taiwan, Canada, and France. But I always point out a country, and today it is Ghana, where actually I have children that I support through World Vision that live in Ghana. Guess how many listeners? 4 listeners. You know what? You 4 are as important as what I said about Singapore, because 4 people standing up, fighting the stigma in that country for people living with disabilities and following this show. I mean, that means so much to me. I've said it on every show. One person, one, can make a difference. One. So to those 4, thank you. My hat's off to you. And Yoshiko Dart. Hey, Yoshiko, shout out to you today. I hope you are having a great, awesome day. You know, I love you, Yoshiko. And I've been shouting out to you for years now on every show. So we all remember she is the widow of the late, great Justin Dart. We need to know our history. We don't know enough about the history of people with disabilities in this country. And I point that out on every single show that I'm on. Well, you know, I mentioned Highmark. What a treat we have. Oh my God. I've got to tell you about Chaz Kellem. I've known him for a long time. May I tell you, when I say he's a fireball, not only is he a fireball, like if you're in the news media or you're planning conferences, this is your keynote speaker. Every time I hear him speak, I'll be sitting there thinking, wow, he is really a good speaker. And he is a great speaker. He is the Strategic Social and Workforce Programs team at Highmark Health, and someone that I'm grateful to call a welcome to the show, Chaz Kallem.
Thank you so very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and I really appreciate the kind introduction as well.
Of course. True facts. So, Chaz, you know, you've already heard we have listeners in 143 countries, let alone everyone across the Americas. So, would you mind telling our listeners about you, like your journey, where you started, where you grew up, went to school, your family, what has happened since? Because everyone says to me, "Oh, that guest was great. I only wish I knew more." So let's hear more from Chaz Kellem.
Yeah, thanks for that start of a question, Joyce. I want to start by echoing something you said and the value of understanding our history, and the connection to that. So I'm a Pittsburgher, born and raised by my mom and dad here in Pittsburgh, and went to public school, proud graduate of Pittsburgh Public School. Had the wonderful pleasure of attending Edinburgh University, which is a smaller institution not too far away, just 2 hours north, and had the opportunity to attend there, and really began my professional career through that institution. After graduating, then came back to Pittsburgh and started my career and decided while working that education was important. So decided to go back to school to obtain a master's degree. And the balance of professional experience with additional education was the right choice for me. Everyone has to make the right choices for them. And after being coached and mentored, I decided to go back and get another degree from Robert Morris University. So education has always been important to me and have really fostered, and been a great value to my career so far.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because it so makes a difference in our lives. But I tell people, if you can't go to college, do not forget about the trades because there are so many opportunities, especially with all these data centers being built where you need AI to power the data center. With all of that going on, you have no idea how many openings there are for people uh, in HVAC, plumbing, carpenter, electrician, all of those areas. And you can get an education at different trade schools. But what I always think about education is it teaches you how to think. It's not that you just amass all these facts. It really teaches. I went to Geneva College and such a great school, and I'm still in touch with people at the college, but that's how I felt. That's how I felt. Well, Chaz, what was it like for you growing up in school, and what was it like for you when you went on to college, as you are, like me, a person with a disability? Because as you know, I live with epilepsy and I'm hard of hearing. So my barrier would be that for 6 months, I could not drive. But even after I had a full recovery, well, of course, I take medication every day. Um, but one time I asked one neurologist, can you assure me that I would never have a seizure while driving a car? Because I certainly would not want to hurt anyone. And he said, "Mm." I said, stop. There's a percentage. So like I'm not taking the chance. But how about you? What were your obstacles? Or what?
Yeah, great question. So I first believe that, that to answer starts with me and some of my early years, and my mom and dad instilled in me the value and importance of self-advocacy and self-determination. And I have always been the student of life. And I think your comments about the trades, college isn't the path for everyone. Trades are an option. But being a quality human was instilled in me, regardless of what career path that I chose. After deciding that college was the path for me, I had to really think about the outside the classroom elements, how to live independently, laundry, food preparations, cleaning of the rooms, navigating from college building to college building. Those outside of the classroom were fears and concerns that I had. And I had to be creative. I strongly believe that people with disabilities are some of the most creative people in the world because we often recognize and are reminded, unfortunately, that the world is often not built for us. We have to be creative and think outside the box as we are faced with various obstacles. And that was my philosophy in college of giving myself extra time to get from place to place, making good friends that could help me with those tasks that were hard, but also demonstrating my value as a classmate. Going back to get my master's was a decision as a young adult and being able to balance a full-time job at the time with uh, courses and, being able to commit to the time management skills and the focusing on the commitment and investing in myself was my priority at that time. So those are some obstacles. And as you mentioned, as a person with a physical disability, I went to Edinburgh. For those who are unfamiliar, Edinburgh gets quite a lot of snow here in Pennsylvania. So, trying to make a committed decision to invest in myself, knowing that the challenges I face were temporary, and really thinking about the long term outcome kept me motivated and encouraged.
Well, I find that you have just incredible determination and the opposite of someone that wants to be pitied, the exact opposite. Independent, very independent. Did that come from your parents?
Absolutely. And Joyce, in full honesty, my mom and dad had no idea what they were doing. As I've been told, most parents figure it out as they go, but they both were instilled in me to figure it out, right? To be creative, to pave my own way. And those things really worked, I guess, to my advantage and really remains a priority for me is that piece of determination that you speak of.
Well, obviously at home they did not pity you.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. Made me do things on my own, right? If I, even the small things, Joyce, ordering your own food, carrying stuff, being able to drive, being able to, all the little things that they did that they weren't consciously aware of allowed me to build the determination and independence.
That's why I tell young people, if someone pities you, that means they feel sorry for you, which means you are not equal, which means you aren't as good, which means you won't get a job. Don't lower the bar. You have to raise the bar. Now, here's a good example for you, Chaz. He has a master's degree. He has a very successful career. He's very well known and respected. But he was one of the people that did not have a helicopter parent that also instilled dependence. So now for the parents listening, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do that. Because guess what? You won't be here someday. Then what? Then what happens? So you can all learn from Chaz and his parents, which what great parents you have. So Chaz, you now work at Highmark and you're in strategic social and workforce program team, a member, and highly thought of at Highmark, may I say. So what is your role and what does that group do?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to call myself an employee here at Highmark Health within the strategic, social, and workforce programs team. We are a part of the HR team, and our focus is really around belonging, making sure that our employees, our members, our patients, and our community members have a true sense of connection and belonging as they interact with our organization. Joyce, we have 40,000 plus employees around the world, several hospitals, various insurance lines of business, and it is a priority. It is a commitment of this organization to make sure that the needs of our patients, members, and community members are met to the best of our and their ability. Focusing on health equity, making sure that health outcomes desired by them can be met. So I have the pleasure of working on a variety of initiatives and strategies to help in that process. While S2W, where that's what we're known as, our office really as a driving force. I want to reassure you that everyone here at our organization understands the importance of this work and works hard, even within their own areas, to drive home that sense of belonging, that sense of equity within this organization. To make sure, again, that health equity is a priority to those in which we engage with.
Mhm. And I always tell people, when they sort of single out disability, I say, okay, now you do know that African Americans have disabilities. Yet, do you know Latina people have disabilities? People from the LGBTQ community have disabilities. People of all ages, gender, whatever, they all have disabilities. So the intersectionality is we are not just off by our own. Like me, I'm a woman living with disabilities. It's pervasive, which
Absolutely.
means that you should be inclusive and not label. Labels only should go on jars, not on people.
Well, I
Well,
like that. I like that, Joyce.
well, um, I love Highmark, David, Holmberg, Karen Hanlon, everyone there, Larry Kleinman. Uh, and did did you ever notice that at Highmark, it seems like it's across the board, this kindness and goodness. It's not like what you hear about other corporations. Why do you think that is?
Well, great question and so very true. I believe that this organization within the DNA of it, we want to do our business the right way.
Hmm.
You mentioned this idea of labels, and we I want to say that representation matters, right? As we have talked about a little bit and heard, representation matters. But at the end of the day, the labels that are associated with us, at the end of the day, we're human. We are people, and Highmark Health within the culture, within the DNA, want to do what we do the right way for all of those in which we serve. We recognize that the populations in which we serve are made up of a wide variety of people from various backgrounds, ethnicities, cultures, parts of the world. And in order for us to support them and make sure that their health outcomes can be met in some way through our organization, we have to do it the right way and treat humans and treat people and do so with kindness and fairness and equity rooted in it. Yes, that there's appointments and there's insurance and there's doctors and there's all that stuff that we do. But at the end of the day, we are working collectively to build healthier communities. And you feel that every day when I come in, we feel that every day with the work we do. And truly we are committed to that here within our organization.
Well, that is a good explanation. In the DNA, that's so true. You know, Chaz, you will be too young for this, but I remember driving in downtown Pittsburgh, going on Smithfield Street, I think it is. I always get my streets wrong. But off to the left was this building, Blue Cross of Western Pennsylvania. And it honestly, it looked like it was one floor. I'm sure it was more than that, but it wasn't like, an impressive building. Then comes Fifth Avenue Place. Wow, what an incredible thing. So beautiful. And now when I watch the Buffalo Bills, I don't care about them. I care about looking to see Highmark Stadium. I don't know where all you're going to be going next, but uh, I love that. So, Highmark, as you well know, is a great partner of mine and is an advocate to the highest level of hiring people with disabilities. However, it's not like that at other companies. I don't know of any company where for how long have I been? 31 years, that every CEO would stand behind you and continue, the partnership of hiring people with disabilities and still, oh, it's so terrible that still 70% of people with disabilities are not counted in the workforce. Why do you think Highmark's so different?
So again, it's not only is it the right thing to do, right? It is something that this organization believes in. And, I am honored to be part of the journey, and our organization leaders, and all of those with higher abilities recognize the value that individuals with disabilities bring to an organization, our time, our talent, our expertise, our lived experience, our education, all of those things add significant value to this organization. And we are part of the consumer audience that Highmark is supporting in those health equity outcomes, right? So there's a connection to it there. And Joyce, I think there is a value in understanding that, people with disabilities and the terms and, you know, we are here to stay. No longer is our community one in which we have our hand out, right? We are impacting and truly adding to communities in which we are a part of. And Highmark Health understands that and wants to be part of that, right? We have understood that there are systematic and societal and individual challenges that exist in our world. And as a key player in this community and in the world, we want to make sure that we are thoughtful with who we hire across the board, but recognizing the gifts, the talents of individuals, regardless of disability, is a priority for this organization. Um,
Mhm.
so it's just something that is we believe in, something that we commit to do. And again, all areas of our business, you will find representation, and it's just part of who we are.
Well, your CEO, David Holmberg, he says all the time, Joyce, people with disabilities need a hand up, not a hand out. Because when you hire people with disabilities, as you said, yes, it's the right thing to do, but it is a business decision that's going to pay off. You have to look at the business investment of hiring people with disabilities. And I am very proud to be in a state where the governor has the commission on people with disabilities, which you are part of. I think, you're an officer, right?
I
Chaz,
am proud to be the chair.
I'm proud that you are the chair.
It
Wow,
is a
that
pleasure. It is a pleasure to be to serve in that capacity. It comes, Joyce, with responsibility, right? To serve as the, chair of a new commission for the state of Pennsylvania is responsibility as well as an opportunity. And I want to first, just acknowledge our leadership at the state level for this opportunity. Also thank Highmark Health for their support in this, right? And that goes back to your previous question that, it's an honor to be seen as a person by my employer, right? I mean, to support me in this newly appointed opportunity as an employer, I'm very grateful for. Highmark Health, uh, i i my philosophy is I want to be encouraging. I want to be uh, a value added. I don't want to be inspirational, Joyce. Right? I want to be motivated. I want to be encouraging. I want to be. I think you used the word fiery early on. And uh, that remains how I interact with each day. And I'm honored that Highmark Health supports that person.
hmm
And through that support, through my education, through how I was raised, right? All of these things have added up, right? And fueled me to be able to be in that position of serving as the chair that I mentioned. And it comes with, again, responsibility and opportunity.
Oh, that it is a great honor. I mean, that is I'm honored to be on the commission. And to think that you have to sign an oath, take this so incredibly serious is just so awesome. Now, Josie Badger, what is her role?
Josie serves as the executive director. So she serves as the executive director of our Commission for People with Disabilities at the state for the state of Pennsylvania. So she serves as part of his administration in that capacity as an employee in the executive director role.
I always tease her because her monogram is JAB, as mine is JAB. She grew up in Wapham. I grew up 15 minutes from Wapham. She went to Geneva College. I went to Geneva College. It's so funny, all those lines that have crossed. But yeah, she is an awesome person. So what is the chair? What is your goal?
So our goal is to support the governor and the governor's office in understanding what and how individuals with disabilities and their families are impacted and are navigating the world or the state each and every day. What opportunities there are, how we can support people with disabilities and their families throughout the entire state of Pennsylvania. And our goal, the key to that is really listening to the people, understanding what challenges and opportunities there are, and then advising the governor and the governor's leadership team on opportunities to support uh, people with disabilities, Pennsylvanians with disabilities, and their families across the state. So, again, this is a newly appointed commission, so we're still working through what some of those key things are, but we are committed to it. We have a great commission of 28 Pennsylvanians across the state, which are leaning in to this opportunity to use their knowledge, their lived experiences, and their voices to serve Pennsylvanians and really continuing to make Pennsylvania a great state for all people, including people with disabilities.
And I love the mayor. I do. I've known Governor Shapiro a long time. I love the mayor, but I have to say, this commission coming from the governor's office is powerful. You know, it's power, and I can't think of a better chair than Chaz Kellem because you look out, everyone, look out. You're not going to just be sitting around with Chaz Kellem. So get ready, get ready. Okay, well, I think we have a announcement here from Scott Hammerstrom running the Bender Leadership Academy. Scott, welcome.
Good afternoon, Joyce, and good afternoon, Chaz. Chaz, it's always great to see you. And I've known Chaz for many, many, many years, and I know he's going to do an outstanding job with his next thing with the state of Pennsylvania. So very happy for you, Chaz. But I wanted to call in, Joyce, because we are having our Mary Brocker Memorial Golf outing that is coming up on Saturday, August 22nd at the River Forest Country Club. So it's a Saturday. River Forest is in Freeport, Pennsylvania, and the golf will start around 9 a.m. And we have some slots that are still open for golfers. So if there's anybody out there interested in golfing, please let us know. Or if you're interested in making a donation or a gift basket for auction items, we're still looking for those as well. So we wanted to get the word out there because I can't believe it's already been 5 years, Joyce, for Mary that we're doing this golf outing. But the outing benefits the Mary Brocker Mental Health Initiative, which I know is very important to her and to you. And we want to make this the most successful golf outing that we've had.
Yes, Scott, it is hard to believe it's been 5 years, and I will never, ever forget Mary. Scott, what is the website if someone wants to reach out?
You can go to our website, which is benderleadership.org. So BENDER leadership.org.
Helping
O-R-G.
high school students with disabilities prepare for the world of work and deal with bullying and be empowered. Hey, Scott, thank you for calling.
You're quite welcome. Bye, Chaz. Bye, Joyce.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Scott.
Well, it is time for our news break. And we have the one and only prestigious Jennifer Mathis. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Are you having a good day, Jennifer?
As good as they can be these
Yes.
days. Yes.
Well, everyone, Jennifer because Jennifer's known nationally. She's the deputy director at Basilon, but she is the voice of the mental health community from a civil rights standpoint. And I'm proud to be on that board of Basilon because national organization that is out there fighting for the rights of people with disabilities. So, Jennifer, of all of the many things going on right now, what news are you going to go over today?
So I just wanted to highlight a really powerful letter that was sent last week by Tim Shriver, who is son of Eunice Kennedy Shriver and Sergeant Shriver, who is chair of the Special Olympics, who is cousin to RFK Jr. Tim Shriver sent a letter last week to Todd Blanche, Acting Attorney General, DOJ, and to RFK Jr., Secretary of HHS, highlighting the concerns that many of us have been raising about DOJ's abrupt change in position, its dramatic reversal of its decades-long position on community integration for people with disabilities and enforcement of Olmstead. So Tim Shriver has written this public letter to DOJ and HHS highlighting the history, the long history of segregation, institutionalization of people with disabilities, highlighting, what things were like before Congress acted, before we started taking a different path. And when schools routinely excluded kids with disabilities. He highlights that in 1970, only 1 in 5 children with disabilities was educated in a public school. And so talking about that history and how important it was that Congress chose a different path with Section 504 in the 1970s and with the ADA in 1990, and what that means to people with disabilities today. And he highlights, basically what is at stake, and that this is not just about service delivery. This is really, what life is like for people with disabilities. And he says, he has a very powerful line, if I can find it, that this is, at its core, this is a question of who we are as a nation. That he says, we have learned often through painful experience that isolation and segregation of people with disabilities diminish human potential. And we've also learned that when people with disabilities participate fully in the life of their neighborhoods, schools, workplaces, and families, they thrive as students, workers, neighbors, athletes, friends, and citizens. And so he asks the federal government to continue its work enforcing the rights of people with disabilities to community integration. I think it is important to highlight these letters, these pleas. It is important for everybody to continue. I think the disability community has been visible on this issue in the press and issuing public statements. And I think that voice needs to continue to be heard by the federal government and also by states. And I just want to highlight something that is on our website, on our homepage, which is www.bazilon, BAZELON.org, which is a statement for states to sign on to ask your governor and your attorney general if they would sign the state onto a statement. It's a very short statement that basically affirms the state's commitment to the integration mandate and just says, we disagree with this DOJ memo and we are committed to providing services to people with disabilities in the most integrated setting appropriate. And we've been doing that successfully, and our communities are better for it. So again, that statement is on our website. It's BAZELON.org, because it is states that, may be raising these arguments in courts, and it is states that really need to commit. If the federal government is reversing its position, it's going to be on the states to implement the integration mandate.
Jennifer, do we have any idea the probability of this happening?
Well, I mean, the federal government has already reversed its position, right? So they have issued a memo from their Office of Legal Counsel at DOJ that is binding on the executive branch. That is not the law, as we have said before. But, the more that states are raising it in courts, the more there is a risk that it could end up becoming the law. If this goes up to the Supreme Court, who knows what the Supreme Court will do, right? We don't really need the Supreme Court to go back and revisit Olmstead right now. So I think we need states to commit to doing the right thing, to commit to the understanding that everybody has had for the last 30 years, and really that's been reflected in the law and regulations for 50 years, which is that states have an obligation under the federal disability rights laws to serve people with disabilities in the most integrated setting appropriate.
Well, everyone, please go to that website and get that few sentences that Jennifer talked about. Once again, you may not want to do anything or speak up, but then you could be one, or your family could be someone that lives in an institution or a nursing home. So need to be educated. You need to be educated. And Jennifer, possibly next week you can give us another update.
Yep,
All right.
absolutely. Happy to do that.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Have a great
All
day.
right, you
Bye-bye.
too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Mathis on the mic. She's like unbelievably well known, and it is such an honor to be able to give a news break. But back to you, Chaz. You just heard her talking about, people with disabilities, and they are discriminated against. For example, so as I said, 70% of people with disabilities are not counted in the workforce. Do you think that's because they look at people with disabilities and believe they would not be able to work?
Yeah, I believe that there's not a single factor, but a combination of, again, systematic, societal challenges. There's preconceived limitations. Sometimes employers may hold biases or stereotypes about the capabilities of individuals, assuming that maybe we're less productive or require excessive accommodations. There's this preconceived idea around managing health conditions, like the demands of our health conditions or disability can make it difficult to maintain consistent employment. And, right, that is not the case. Our community is prepared to impact our region, impact the world, and change the world. And not again in an after school special, inspirational way. And there's value in that. I don't want to devalue that. There's a role for that. But there are millions of us living every day like our peers, like our neighbors, like our family members. So there's room and value in both. We just need opportunity. We need access. We need representation. And we need opportunity.
Mhm. Yes, so true. And once again, equality, not lowering the bar, no labels. So, Chaz, you also do a tremendous amount, I know, and always have. Although I must tell you, if you were here right now, Chaz, and you saw the wall in my office, it is all Pittsburgh Pirates with the great Roberto Clemente right in the middle, and Mazeroski and every other thing. Chaz worked for the Pirates, Pittsburgh Pirates. I can still see him on the bridge, at some event. I can still see him. And I know you still love the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I
Uh,
do. I do.
I am hardcore. I've been a fan since Three Rivers and have had season tickets. I remember when I had season tickets, I could not give them away. Now I have to say, even though, we had not been winning for years, all of our tickets are gone every year. But you know why? People love PNC Park. They love it. And who wouldn't like going to a ball game on a Friday night or whenever,
One of
right?
the most accessible ballparks and facilities in the country.
Yep, that is so true. And beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But you do a lot of volunteer work with the Miracle League of Moon and the Pittsburgh Steel Wheelers. Can you tell us what is the Miracle League of Moon?
Yeah, Miracle League of Moon is a custom designed ball field, baseball field, and playground area designed to support kids of all ages to be able to play the game of baseball that they love in a safe and inclusive environment. Has a different type of playing surface. It has all the amenities of a traditional little league or pony league field, but it is designed to make sure that our community, individuals, kids with disabilities, can play in a safe way. So the surface is designed to allow wheelchairs to roll easier, walkers and those who may use a cane to be able to navigate it, people who may have frequent falls to be able to do so in a safer way. For those who may have service animals, there's water bowls around. It's an inclusive field for us, for kids of all ages, to be able to play the game and interact with the game of baseball in a way that works for them, with an inclusive playground. So children with disabilities and their siblings and their guardians can interact together in a way, in an independent way, that allows play to happen at its natural form. So
Oh, I think
that's
that is so awesome.
absolutely.
I do. How about the steel wheelers? What's that?
Yes, yes. Pittsburgh Steelers, an organization in which allows competitive play of wheelchair basketball, wheelchair rugby, and hand cycling, to compete at the highest of levels, competing with teams and individuals across the U.S. at the highest form of its game. So we have a junior program for kids, an adult program, just an opportunity for people with physical disabilities to be able to play, again, either wheelchair basketball, rugby, or hand cycle.
Well, when I was very young, it's when I received the President's Award at the White House from President Clinton. I went outside because they wanted me to see they were playing basketball, okay? And it was the steel wheelers or wheelchair basketball playing against the staff at the White House. And soon as that staff came out and they had ties on and unloosened the tie a little bit, I knew right away, oh, they're going to get killed. I just know it.
It's a
Here
very
comes
fun
these
game.
guys out,
Yeah, yeah.
tattoos on that wheelchair, and they were knocking the staff over. I mean, needless to say, they decimated the staff. And then Jonathan Young, who was in a wheelchair and reported to the president, looked at me and said, "Do you want to try from a wheelchair?" I said, "What? I can't get it in standing. No, I cannot do that from a wheelchair." But one thing I noticed, Chaz, your volunteer work here is all related to sports.
Something about sports. I had a mentor tell me one time, Joyce, while getting my undergraduate degree, the value and the versatility of the life lessons learned through sports are endless. So
Mhm.
I use sports as a teaching mechanism, for life lessons. Hard work, time management, discipline, sacrifice, taking care of the mind, body, and spirit. All of those things that make me the human being and the community member I am, I have learned and continue to practice through sports. And it is been truly an incredible honor to be associated both at the highest level for the Pittsburgh Pirates and at the community level through some of the organizations that you've referenced, to be able to be connected to sports in a variety of ways.
Oh, you know what? I mean, Andrew McCutcheon. Oh, I loved Andrew McCutcheon. Loved him way back to when we were in the playoff and he had the long hair. Um, and he goes occasionally to my church, Northway Christian Community in Wexford. So, and his kids go there to the summer Bible camp. But one day we do this trunk or treat at Helen Faison School at a poorer area of Pittsburgh, not as safe as others, where kids are nervous, going trick or treating. So we have all these vans, trunk or treat. And me, I love these kids. We buy so much candy, you'd never believe it. You know how many, and I get so upset when I don't have a lot of kids coming to my house. Well, I don't have to worry there because they had 900 coming through. Well, my pastor came over and said, "Look, I got to tell you something. Andrew McCutcheon is giving out jackets and he's up there in the building." Oh my goodness, I took off. Like that's probably the fastest I've ever been running. Only one thing, you have to dress up if you're doing this. I was Mr. Potato Head. So I have this picture with Andrew McCutcheon, and here I am, Mr. Potato Head. But boy, what a great person. What a great, great person.
On and off the field, on and off the field, for sure.
Yes, on and off the field. A lot of the pirates are like that, though. Very giving, do a lot of volunteer work. Um, to me, the greatest team, period. Well, I have a good idea. I may know the answer to this, maybe not. But you obviously have been impacted and you're living at the highest level of success in the professional work environment. So who is your role model?
Wow, that's a deep, deep question. Good question, Joyce. So, uh, I strongly believe that many people have added to the person who is sitting before you here today. Neighbors, teachers, even you. I mean, Joyce, you mentioned earlier that we've known each other for quite some time, and I won't share how long because that'll give away my age a little bit, but it has been a while. So, folks like yourself, Joyce, have really added into the person I am. Uh, Specifically, when I had to put a frame on the role model, my mom and dad, Joyce. Uh, were amazing human beings and did a lot for me, made a lot of sacrifices, taught me the fabric of right from wrong, the importance of community. I mean, I am just so grateful that I had the house and the home that I was raised in. So I'm very grateful. I heard something recently about the idea of gratitude, and gratitude is realizing that your current blessing is someone else's dream, right? So let me put that in perspective for your listeners and viewers, right? The
You repeat
Ferrari,
that, repeat.
yes, the gratitude is realizing that your current blessing is someone else's dream.
So
For
good.
for perspective, right? The Ferrari driver is hopeful or dreaming of something better. The person driving a Chevy wants a better car, while the cyclist wants that Ford. The person waiting at the bus dreams of, the car and so forth, right? So again, gratitude is realizing that your current blessing is someone else's dream. And the secret to happiness is not having more, it's being grateful for what you already have. And I'm just very grateful for what my parents did continue to do for me. Even though they've passed on, I'm very grateful for them. So I would really say my parents are my role models.
Yes. I had a strong feeling that is what you were going to say, Chaz. So, Chaz, over the past, well, so far, I'm going to say 25 and 26. What do you consider your greatest accomplishment at work and in your personal life?
So my initial gut reaction to that question, Joyce, is I haven't done it yet because I have a deep hunger to continue to give everything I have each and every day. But I think professionally, it's really been able to give my all to this organization and have a platform and a support system to bring my passion and creativity to work and work with a group of people who continuously are working to improving what we do, how we do it, and making our healthcare system better. Personally, it is as simple as being a good neighbor, being a good community member. It is, giving back in big and small ways. It is showing up when I say I'm going to show up. It's living the path and instilling the blessing that I talked about previously each and every day through my actions. I, you know, I am grateful and humbled at what I've been able to do and I am excited and encouraged about the opportunities forthcoming.
Yep, me too. You know what? See, what I always tell people with disabilities, I don't want you to just have a job. I want you to have a career. I want you to move up. I want to help you move up because why? You can hire people with disabilities. The more power you have, the more you can do. So, Chaz, what message do you have for our listeners today?
Well, I want to thank you first for having me today, and it's an honor. My message for all of you today is focused on disability inclusion. Every single one of us plays an indispensable role in building a truly inclusive world. And it starts with recognizing the power that you have, recognizing the power of disability inclusion, which isn't a corporate ideal or just a legal requirement. It's a fundamental commitment to ensuring that every individual, regardless of their ability, has the opportunity to participate fully and to thrive. So thank you, Joyce, for what you do. And I'm very grateful and appreciative to the opportunity to be here with you today.
You know what I say, Chaz? I'm blessed to know you. You know that? I am. I'm blessed to know you. Well, we went in every show with a quote, and today that quote is, I am different, not less, said the great Temple Grandin. And I love that saying. I love that quote. I am different, not less. And if you have a disability, you are different, not less. Don't forget that. And in the words of Mary Brocker, when you get up tomorrow, remember, choose joy. You won't be disappointed. Talk to you all next week. See you with the mayor's office on disability from New York City. Talk to you then.
Voice America would like to thank you for tuning in. Please join us next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time and 2 p.m. Eastern Time for another installment of Disability Matters, right here on the Voice America Variety Channel. We are the leader in live Internet talk radio. VoiceAmerica.com.